Hey guys, Josh here, Michigan Whitetail Management. Been trying to get out here and get the video done that we were talking about a couple weeks ago about the parcel that we have here at the house, not too far from the house and the office, and on the same property. And I thought I'd take a couple minutes here to kind of go over it. Had some free time this afternoon. Had a question yesterday come in through Facebook. And pretty much the moral of the story of the question was, is there such thing as too small of a partial? And I'm going to go out on a limb there, I guess, and say no. But it depends on if we're talking about doing habitat improvement as far as bedding areas and hinge cuttings and structure and edge, or if we're talking about food plots, and where to put those on a partial so you don't benefit the neighbors from your stand location. Now, with that said, I just want to hit on that again, is anything that we do together is all benefiting. We're all benefiting from each other, and we're all helping each other out. So if you're creating more food, healthier deer, and your neighbors are benefiting from that as well, and so are you from what they have to keep them healthy, that's a good thing. But in a hunting situation, we don't want that necessarily to hinder our productivity, our chances of harvesting a mature buck. So this property here is a perfect example. So this is 11 acres, and if you guys know where it's at, the house actually sits on the back side of the property here over my shoulder, up on the hill, and the to the north is actually where our shop and our office is. Now what you'll see is out towards the road, which is on the other side of the shop. It's a long, narrow piece. Now out front along the road we have a big pond, and then we have this pond here, and they're connected by the channel. So what is good about that is it creates a lot of it does create a lot of structure, edge. But what we've done is I've taken some of it. You can see where the horse shelter is out here. We took that and made that into a horse pasture. So that continues out over the drainage here, or out of the ditch that runs between the two ponds, and that everything out there on the flat is now horse pasture. So what that leaves us is this. It leaves us to the east we have the driveway that runs up the hill, and you can see a wood pile there that we, from the storm in August, had to cut some trees out of the driveway. But what it is there's that driveway sits halfway down a hill that runs up to the top to the house. To the east of this, you can see it picks up and goes into the partial. Now from here east is a 500-ish, 480, 500-ish partial, and to the west is 380, and our 11 acres sits in the center of it. So two big partials on each side, and the 11 acres in the center. So kind of a unique piece, but the way it's set up, it's not a hunting partial. There was some property years ago that was behind it that's no longer with it, so we are landlocked by two large parcels. One of the parcels is the biggest partial, one of the biggest parcels left in Lake County. So there's no food, there's no bedding. We are strictly a corridor, a travel area between point A and point B. But what we do have is we have contour, we have water, and different locations. We have water accessible in 2 or 3 different areas for them. So what we're going to do is, I just thought I'd show you here real quick with knowing kind of how it lays out, and I'll put a photo on here of an aerial too, so you can kind of get the idea. It leaves us from the hill behind us, it leaves an edge. It comes down from the hill and it comes right down into this flat spot before it hits the water. So as you can see here, it's got these big white pines out here by the edge of the driveway, and then the farther to the west it goes, it actually farther to the west that it goes, it runs. So there's probably 50 yards at the widest point before it hits the pond. So we'll walk out here. You can walk out here with me. But as you can see, this was actually cleared at one time. Had some overgrowth in it. And these white pine saplings now are growing up. Actually, quite a few of them now. But because of the pond being right here, it's flat between, like I said, the base of the hill, where you have these big, there's 2 or 3 red oak, 2 or 3 hard maple left, this big white pine behind me, and so it comes down from the house, hits the base, and then, like I said, it's like 50-60 yards wide at the widest that it's left here as a flat spot. Has a big brush pile in it here that's going to get moved away, but so it is completely flat. Has these saplings in it, white pine saplings. But the good thing of it is on a wet year, you can see a little bit of water that'll stand up in here, because it's only as you can see, that's the pond behind me, the channel that runs from the first pond to the second pond. So water is here. So it's only, this will probably be the best way. So you're looking to the west. I'm facing east. You're looking to the west. So the water right there from the pond is I'm only a foot or 2 above it, which is good. Because one, it stays, a lot of runoff and everything comes in here, and it's not the pond, so if we need to water it, we can put a water system in here and keep this good and green. So what we're going to do is show you that it can be done on this parcel. This parcel is only 330 wide and like almost 1,300 deep. So 330 feet wide, 1,200 feet deep. So from the way it lays out here, you can see that right over in there, there's a deadfall, and the pond goes in and it pinches down right in the farthest west spot, which is private, like I said, to the west. A 380 acre chunk on that side, all one continuous piece. And what it does is the deer, so we have ag to the east and no food other than a couple of food plots on that big parcel to the west. Nothing on that other than, like I said, some food plots, no mass crop. All the big food is to the east, quarter mile, half mile to the east. So what this does is this pinches these deer down from where this, you can see this old white pine, you can see the bank, now you can see the house up on the hill. That whole bank now is open, and what comes right down, hits the pond, and leaves this spot. I would say that I haven't measured it, but it's probably a little over a half acre. So as you can see, as it can be done, you just have to use the contour. And what we're going to do here is because the way this lays, and as you can see from a deer's perspective, if they were walking the base of this hill, they would be looking out at that. So they'd be looking north. So they're not going to feel very secure looking to the north out there. So what we're going to do is right out here over my right shoulder, all the way along the edge of the pond to the west, all the way back towards the north, all the way along the edge of the pond dam here, the channel, we're going to plant a screen. Sorghum, big blue stem, Egyptian wheat. Antler King's product is the bedding and shielding. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that in a couple different stages. Put the tall to the back and then the shorter stuff out towards the plot, so they feel comfortable. Anywhere in here they should feel very comfortable. They're underneath you'll see is sorry if it keeps spinning around here, but you'll see underneath it here from a deer's view. I mean, they're going to be able to see just the top of the house. From the house I'll be able to see some of it to the north, but not all of it right here. So out here, open sunlight, everything should have plenty of daylight during the sunlight during the your growing hours of the day. Kind of looking forward to this piece. The moral of the story here is it can be done. You just have to use this. Every piece is different. Nothing. I can venture to say that no piece of property that I've ever been on is the same. Just earlier this afternoon, I didn't do a video out on that one because I didn't get to do all the walking because of the snow still there, but that's like a nearly 200 acre partial, and so two totally different setups, but it can be done. You just have to know going into this that you're not creating this to hold deer. This is a travel area where they're naturally funnel. It's a spot where they naturally travel between bedding. So to the west is a swamp, low area out the end of the pond, and they travel from there through here out to the big agricultural fields to the east. Now the neighbor to the west, if he tries to hunt that area where the bedding area is, they do more harm than good. So they know enough not to mess with it. They hunt it from the other side on east winds, south winds, stuff like that. And the neighbor to the east doesn't hunt the property line either. So it'll work for everybody, but it's just the strategy is just knowing what you're getting into before you start it. And one thing you'll find with me is I always I'm pretty honest about that. I'm not going to tell you that you can take 10 acres and make it hunt like 40. If it's 10 acres and it's going to hunt like 5, I'm going to tell you it's going to hunt like 5. So this here is a 10 acres and 11 acres, and it hunts like a 1 acre food plot. So that's all we have here. We're going to make it work. So when I get home late from work, if I got time to jump in a stand or something like that, it works. It's quick. So what we're going to do is on the bank back here is where the stand will be. And the reason that is, I'll have a stand, a tree stand here, but I'm also going to have just a little rifle shack up on the hill. Reason is that is everything coming from the west and the northwest. It's just going to be a little close range. Pop over the top of the hill, walk down to it, or walk from the shop and be here. So it's doable. It's just you gotta don't over anticipate, don't overthink it. A partial like this is simple, but with the water there and everything that it has, it should be you should be able to grow. We should be able to make Antler King pretty proud here with the brassicas up to your knees, you know, because everything is here. So little work. Got to take some trees out. We're gonna leave some, like this one right here behind us is a perfect example. That little white pine. It's a lower, what I would call like a subpar tree. It doesn't have a lot of potential. We're gonna leave it as a scrape tree and just kind of be creative with it. So yeah, this is a little spot that I've been wanting to show you. It's it just doesn't have, there's just not a lot, but what it does have, it'll work. We've taken deer off here before, and the kids have actually been able to take a couple deer off here during the youth season in the past. So we're looking forward to it. Hopefully everybody has a good weekend ahead. Kids are on spring break, and we are as well. We're hoping to maybe end up in Illinois by the end of the week. Got a couple parcels to look at down there, and some family friends that we're gonna go see, and hopefully find some sheds, and we'll go from there. So have a good rest of the week, and stay tuned. A lot of good things coming. Thanks, guys.